What's up guys, today I'll be breaking down and discussing the sniper rifle in Battlefield 1 called the Lebel Model 1886 as part of the They Shall Not Pass DLC for Battlefield 1. There's two variants to this weapon, the infantry which has iron sights and zoom options up to 2 times, and the sniper which offers sight magnifications of 5, 6, 8, and 10 times and attaches a bipod to the weapon. Of note, the infantry variant does allow you to stay aimed down sights between shots, but the sniper variant does not. I'll discuss optimum strategies when using these weapons and break down the synthic numbers to give you a better understanding of the weapons. Both Lebels are exactly the same in terms of base stats, but they differ in terms of zoom optics, as I already stated. And there's slight differences to recoil and spread, but I'll discuss that shortly. To unlock the infantry variant, you'll have to get 50 kills with the Gewehr M95 infantry and perform 20 spot flare assists. To unlock the sniper variant, you'll have to get 5 headshots with the Russian 1895 sniper in 1 round and perform 20 periscope spot assists. Those you don't have to do in 1 round. So the stats, all Lebels have a 56 round per minute fire rate, a 720 meters per second bullet velocity, which puts it about in middle tier in terms of sniper velocities, a 12 meters per second squared gravitational constant, meaning you're going to be suffering substantial bullet drop over longer ranges. You will notice this at about 150 meters where it'll start to drop off. Magazine size for this weapon is 8. In terms of reloading, it takes up to 6.67 seconds to reload from completely empty, and you do so by inserting individual rounds into a tube-style magazine. To avoid the need for a nearly 7-second reload time, either reload after a few rounds fired, or just bite the bullet, empty the whole thing, and take advantage of the fact that you're going to have to reload for nearly 7 seconds. The fact remains for this weapon, though, it will reload comparatively slow versus other sniper rifles, so it is absolutely something you're going to have to account for. You can add a bayonet to all the variants, but of course it will negatively impact how fast you can draw the weapon, so if you're a more aggressive player, definitely keep that logic in mind. In terms of the damage chart, both variants have a base damage of 80 up to 30 meters away, then it increases to 100 damage at 50 meters, stays at 100 damage until 87.5 meters, and past that drops back down to the base damage of 80 from 127 meters on. Headshots have a 1.8 times multiplier, upper body shots have a 1 times multiplier, lower body shots and upper arms have a 0.9 times multiplier, and legs and lower arms have a 0.7 times multiplier. So what that essentially means is that this weapon's sweet spot for a one-hit kill is between 50 to 87.5 meters, and it will be if you land in headshot or upper body shot. This is one of the better short to medium range sweet spots in the game, as it makes the Lebel a good option for more medium range sniping, not so much close quarters aggressive sniping, and not so much longer range of sniping either. So it splits the difference in the middle, of course, here. Of note, headshots, of course, are a one-hit kill at any range, but over longer range, like I said earlier, you are going to have to account for some bullet drop. In terms of recoil, the sniper and infantry variants have exactly the same recoil profiles. In terms of the vertical recoil, they have 2 degrees of recoil vertically, and they have 1 degree both horizontal, left, and right. Both variants have the same recoil decrease of 3. We'll now evaluate spread. All variants, not surprisingly, have no spread when aiming down sights and not moving. All variants have 1 degree of spread when you're aiming down sights and moving. In terms of hipfire spread, all variants will encounter 2.5 degrees of spread when hipfiring standing and not moving, and all the way up to 4 degrees of spread when hipfiring standing and moving. So lastly, overall, you'll encounter the least spread when going recoil and prone, as you'd expect, especially with the bipod on the sniper variant. But because these are single shot weapons, you don't really have to worry as much between recoil reset as long as you're stationary when you shoot, whether that's standing or prone. A little bit of common sense for you right in your ear. So what ranges and situations does this weapon excel? As noted earlier, the weapon outputs its max damage of 100 between that sweet spot of 50 to 87 meters. So this is the range you're going to want to stay in if you want to maximize your chances of a one-hit kill from chest shots and above. This weapon does serve to bridge the gap between the SMLE and Russian 1895 in terms of that missing sweet spot range, and it does have a pretty good fire rate of 56 rounds per minute. There are issues, and I'll address this now. First off, it has a slow bullet velocity in comparison to other sniper rifles at 720 meters per second, especially the Russian, which is very similar in terms of archetypes. Second, the reload speed, as I stated earlier, it's quite slow, and it's something you're absolutely going to have to account for at all ranges, especially when it's empty. The magazine size of 8 is more manageable than it is of 5 of, say, the Russian, so that is a plus for it. It is best suited for medium-range sniping combat based on the stats, but you can make the argument that the SMLE and the Russian already do a better job at this medium-range sniping with less weaknesses and less planning you have to do around like a 7-second recoil for aggressive sniping or medium-range options. So the big question, what's my rating, and would I use this weapon often? This is a weapon that's not going to hold you back, but at the same time, it's not going to bolster you either. It doesn't really have a ton of key strengths other than its good medium-range sweet spot. It's aimed as a direct competitor to the Russian 1895 and the SMLE, but it doesn't really do anything statistically significant to make it stand out enough to choose it regularly over the other two weapons that were already fan favorites in the game. So that's a bit of a concern. The other thing too is it doesn't really stand out as a better option to traverse between medium and longer ranges because of the slower bullet velocity. You can be successful with this weapon. It does sound like I'm bashing it. No, you can go out there and slaughter a lobby if you really are a good sniper. But if you're the type of player that likes to go and change between ranges and say passive sniping and aggressive sniping, dictated based on game flow and basically what's determined on what's in front of you, this might not be the weapon I'd recommend for that. I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10 based on the logic I presented to you. It's something that's a jack of all trades, master of none. It's not going to hold you back, but it's not going to make you a slayer either just by picking it up. But the SMLE and the Russian, they sort of hold the monopoly over that medium-range sniping area, and this weapon, as much as it can hold its own in that range area too, the SMLE with the larger magazine size, much faster reload, slightly better, the magazine size is better, slightly faster bullet velocity. The SMLE might actually still be the way to go in comparison to that, and the Russian has the longer range sweet spot, so if you're slightly longer than medium range, the Russian might be the way to go. Give it a try though, see if you enjoy it. You might fall in love with its overall pattern and go from there. If you liked the video, please leave a like, share it around if you'd like other people to view the work, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Have a good one, YouTube.